Hello, Mohit.
Hi, Professor. How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Not too bad. Just a little tired and a little stressed about the assignments, honestly.
Okay. Okay. How's the progress on your assignment?
Um, I have a few more left. This Sunday I have to submit the marketing one, like your assignment.
Hmm.
I was actually hoping if I could get the an extension in that one.
Digital marketing, you mean?
No, like the marketing audit one.
Okay. All right. Okay. We'll talk about it. No
Yeah,
worries.
definitely. I can email you. I was actually working on it like after coming back from my international marketing class.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how's your international marketing assignment going?
Not bad. So there's like a group assignment, and all the students who are in my group are new, and they constantly keep calling me even if I'm at work, if I'm anywhere, and have so many questions and would want me to do most of their work. And even the presentation we had today,
Mm.
professor wasn't happy with the parts that they explained in the presentation.
It was Tarek Halimi, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And what product and which country you have selected for your assignment? Can I ask?
Yeah. So the product we came up with is McCain Vegan. So frozen vegan meals
Mhm.
to be sold in UK.
Oh, from Australia to UK.
Yes, yes. We are going to use like the farmers in UK itself because it's all plant-based product and put their faces on the product itself, like how the SPC did it here.
Okay, so the idea is going from Australia and you will be producing from UK and then distributing in UK.
Yes, yes. Just because like McCain itself is like spread all across the world, so they have bases everywhere in the world. So we'll use UK to market. Like
Then what will be your competitive advantage?
um, basically the reason why we had to choose another country is like that was the rule. Like we cannot choose Australia, and we cannot choose the country where it originated from.
Okay.
So that's why we chose UK. But the competitive advantage is like it's a frozen meal, so it can stay in your refrigerator for a long period, whereas the others get spoiled. And it's gonna be like exactly like meat, and like the texture and everything would be same as meat. So that means you are not compromising, and our nutritional value would be more better than the actual meat products and the meals that you get. And we're not going to limit it to just the meal. You'll get all the snacks and everything just in the frozen form as always.
Mm-hmm. Now, look, thanks that you're sharing about that your assignment. Don't have any issue with the product, but why UK? Because if you look into the geographical distance, right?
Yes, yes. So one reason that I think UK is because of the cultural diversity. I wanted to choose a country where there is a lot of veganism. So UK do get a lot of people from other countries, so there's different cultures there, and veganism is spreading. I tend to
Mm-hmm.
put a research paper in there as well, which tells like how the veganism is becoming like a staple in UK. Even in Australia,
Good
I
argument. Very good argument. Mm.
yeah, like even in Australia, I meet a few people, like even few of my coworkers are vegan. But I'm pretty sure, like from the paper and from like what I've heard from my friends, veganism is a lot more in America and UK. It's
Mm.
catching up here, but like over there it's higher.
Mm.
And
That's interesting.
everyone's diet over there, they try to eat healthy, and it's not like America where there is more trend of like the fast food and the junk food. They
Mm-hmm.
do
Mm-hmm.
try to cook at home. They do love having meals at home. So yeah,
Interesting.
that was
Interesting.
the basis of it. In
And
the
I believe you're
presentation,
also using the cage theory as well, Mohit. You know, you're familiar with the cage theory, right?
no, what would be that?
Okay. There's a paper by um, Pankaj Grumwat, right? So Pankaj Grumwat published the paper on proximity, all right? So distance still matters. That is the title
Yes.
of the paper, right?
Okay.
Distance still matters. So
Mhm.
if you're selecting a market, you need to find out what is the proximity, because there's so many different factors, right? So what is the difference between Australia
Yeah.
and UK, right? So considering on all different factors. So geographic location is one of the factors, but according to the paper, it is not, because you are producing in UK, so that means there is no problem in the geographical distance. What
Yeah.
about the cultural distance, socioeconomic, political, economic, and then
Yes.
also
I did
other.
the whole pestle analysis of UK in the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So distance still matters. If you search the paper, you'll find the cage model, and you can use that one. It's a very useful one.
Yeah. I already got the article on my phone.
Good, good. No worries. So sorry, I'm just discussing about other subject. Hello everyone. Hi Jack, Michael, Pretty. How are you guys?
Hi.
How are you guys?
Hi, how's it going? Yeah, good.
We've been discussing about the veganism. You guys are vegan? Yes, no?
No.
Pretty, you are not. Michael, Jack.
I want to be, but it's hard to give up meat because I love it so much.
I'm in the same team. I cannot do
Same,
it.
same. Me neither.
I'm mostly
actually-
vegetarian.
You are?
Mostly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I every now and then I do have meat, but only very occasionally.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of my very good friends, he's pescatarian, so he's very into the seafood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's like good arguments for that, and as well as like I think probably more ethical, but it's a hard one, especially like sort of trying to get rid of like habits that like you if you grew up eating meat and everything like that. But yeah, it's I guess it's like a very individual thing.
Oh, of course, yeah. So the problem is in many cases the animal cruelty, right? In different cultures. I have seen some documentary. One was in Indonesia. So the exporting of Australian cattle over there, and the kind of approach they are using in the slaughterhouses. Oh my goodness, is horrible. Other parts in the world as well. I come from Bangladesh. I've also seen this kind of scenario over there. But developed world, they have much better approach on that. But yeah, individuals' point of view, individuals' choices, definitely. Do you know that artificial intelligence has been used to alternative meat, the selection of the taste? If you look into, there's a very interesting research has been going on, how you are producing alternative meat, right? So, and then how artificial intelligence is actually literally helping them. Very interesting angle to look into selecting the taste. If you look into the permutation, right? Millions of, let's say, option of selecting the right taste, right taste code, and how designing the algorithm and running the algorithm on that literally help. Very
So that
interesting.
is what they're using for like say like vegan meat.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's really advanced. I didn't know that.
Yeah, pretty much. If you do research, you'll find that now how much they are into this industry. The industry is an immense possibility, vegan meat,
Yeah.
and they looked into the closer taste. Right? I did try once, and the taste was not that close. So then I was thinking about, okay, maybe in upcoming future there'll be much more better adaptation of the taste. Yeah, this will be maybe in upcoming years. We'll see.
Yeah, it's probably a work in progress, and
Yeah.
if they're using AI, that's that's
Yeah.
miles ahead of what I thought. But yeah, I'm sure the years will help that as well.
Yeah, of course. All right, guys. I think we can start our discussion. We're in week 10, right? So we have this week and next week. So first thing is that your progress on your assignment. So Mohit was indicating that his work has been ongoing, but what about others? How you're progressing with your assignment? Preeti, Michael, Jack?
I've started bits. I've done like half of it. I've just got a couple more to go.
Okay. Any question regarding the assignment?
With the personas for the thing or the markets, can it be, so I've decided to do Australian, Asian, and the EU market. Is that okay?
3 different personas you wanted to create, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's
Okay,
do
cool.
that. Yeah, it's okay. Any question, Michael, Jack, on the assignment?
Nothing from me. I'm almost done. I'm just going to hold off on submitting just in case something comes up in this class.
Oh, that's great. So you're really advanced. Good. Jack, any question?
I was just about to say I have no questions on mine. I've actually finished, so yeah, I've been sort of doing assignments nonstop all week, so it's been very intense, but also very productive. So
No, all good, all good. All right. So yeah, keep me posted if you need any help or any question you have, right? Before you submit. All right. Let's start our discussion. Today we'll be discussing on the strategy on mobile marketing. Next session on measuring the social media marketing strategy, and then in week 12 we'll be doing the revision. All right. Now, the 2 sections that we have, or 2 parts that we have for today's session, we'll discuss the mobile marketing topic discussion. And in the second part, we'll be discussing on the case study connected with the same topic, mobile marketing, right? So first of all, we will look into the strategies that the marketers do use, particularly focusing on connecting with their consumers or target audiences or customers, right? Using one particular platform. The platform we look into connected with internet, a portable digital device, that is mobile phone, right? But if you look into, let's say that's 2 decades ago, right? Early 1990, when people start using mobile phone during that time was not that smart the way we are using it now, right? I have seen the first time I was exposed to the mobile phone. There was a Motorola brand. I recall I was in college at the time, and it was a big kind of device. One of the business magnates in my country, he's affluent, elite, and he had one of his employees who was always carrying the mobile phone for him, right? There was no kind of digital screen of like the way we're using it. So it's a big keypad. They had the big antenna, right? Very expensive and very difficult to handle and carry. But the transformation has been done throughout the process of time. We looked into constantly. We can see the refinement has been done, and marketers are using different kinds of critical strategies, different avenues. If you look into the planned obsolescence or perceived obsolescence, remember we talked about these 2 concepts earlier, right? So the planned obsolescence, how they refine each different models. Did we talk about it? Yes, no? Did we talk about planned obsolescence?
I'm not sure if we did, but I've heard of the concept.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Let's look into a little bit on this one, the planned obsolescence, how each of these different models, right? Subtle change, not too much. Subtle change is literally pushing the consumers to buy more, right? Because some of the features might not be useful anymore. Think about, or maybe some of the, let's say, not features, even the parts of that particular product is not usable anymore. iPhone 6, 7, 8, right? So battery is not working after 2 years, right? So that kind of approaches literally push the consumers to go for the new one, right? But more extreme than this one is the perceived obsolescence. If you look into this one, so you guys are familiar with that, right? Perceived obsolescence. Michael, what do you think about it? Bit more sinister if you look into that way.
Is that to do with marketing, I suppose, making people want to upgrade their model?
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. So that means a kind of inducement of the knowledge, or even the passion. That the earlier model was not any good anymore. So think about when Apple iPhone 14 gonna come, some people will be chasing. Still, they do have Apple iPhone 13, work perfectly well, but they are all chasing to have that one. All right. So that kind of inducement of knowledge literally push them to go for the next, let's say, version or edition or updated one, right? So interesting way to deal with both planned and perceived obsolescence. Anyway, looking into how mobile marketing literally help the marketers, particularly focusing on the digital marketing strategies, right? So think about the kind of, let's say, strategies, all right, they are using in different ways, because it's getting much more affordable, portable, all right, and accessible as well. If you look into the development of the internet, all right, because of, let's say, globalization, and also because of, let's say, industrial revolution 4.0 and IoT, all right, Internet of Things, all the refinement literally showing us the kind of growth. First, we looked into digitization, right? So after the dot-com bubble, right? So how people were all into using different kinds of, let's say, search engines, or think about the way they were all relying on accessing to the information by using different kinds of search engine. Then we can look into from the digital media to digital commerce, right? So in that phase, still we are refinement of that particular phase, but in that particular phase, we looked into different kinds of, let's say, online market or even meta market found is, let's say, strong presence, let's say, not into the face-to-face world, but let's say in the online platform market. From there, we move forward to the social network, particularly consumers to consumers, and then business to consumers. And then we look into much more multi-layered and complex perspective of the social business. That means how the social network connected with the business, and business is creating the opportunity, right? Using different kinds of social media strategies. And then now we are into the S-commerce. We are moving towards actually the S-commerce or social commerce phase, where you see that the consumers are not only the consumers, they become marketers as well. All right, so the kind of segmentation is not necessary anymore, because how you looked into, anyone can fit into in any market. So the fundamental viewpoint of segmentation doesn't work. The fundamental viewpoint of positioning doesn't work. So let's say the less affluent consumers or middle income group consumers still have a passion to access to the luxury brand. So the way we looked into the status symbol or status identity still doesn't actually fit into. So there's so many different things happening in this particular area. That's where we look into what would be the right approach for the marketers by using the e-commerce strategy. And mobile plays a very critical role here. Now, first of all, we need to look into some of the benefits of using mobile or mobile strategy. Mobile itself, if you look into, is connected. That's why it's social, right? So all kinds of, let's say, strategies we are considering as a kind of social strategy with the mobile phone, because we are able to easily access, right, different kinds of, let's say, access consideration. It can be apps, different kinds of apps, right? So every day based on our requirement or our necessity, and also accessing to the, let's say, the searching for the information through the web, using different kinds of essential, let's say, information. Think about one of the interesting perspective is that the navigators, right? So accessibility with the Google Map, some or other make the navigators obsolete. So this becomes the new navigators, right? Availability as well is easy to carry, is handy, right? And then also becomes affordable, right? So interesting things that this should be, and this already has become one of the critical device and success factors for the marketers to connect with the consumers or customers, socially connect with the consumers, right? Now let's have a look into some of the statistics on looking into mobile and social network to use, right? In different ways, we look into a kind of shift that has been done, right? How many people they were into connecting with different kinds of social media platform, and how marketers were all keen to refine the designing of the social media contents, focusing on different types of portable devices, particularly the tab or let's say the mobile phone. One interesting difference is on the tab and the mobile phone, how people are using or target audiences are using the tab, where they are located in comparison with the mobile users, right? So mobile is much more flexible considering on the location based, right? So normally in the tab perspective, they might be actually at home. If you look into the majority of the percentage of the users in comparison of the mobile phone users, we can see a big growth or big jump on using the worldwide social network users, right? So by 2021, the estimation is that, according to Nielsen research, is more than 3 billion people around the world will be using the social media, different kinds of social medias, if you look into, right, Facebook, Twitter, or TikTok or YouTube. Now, interesting thing is that we also look into the users as well. There's a kind of estimation that the internet users, how much time they normally do spend on, let's say, social media platform per day. All right. So the extremity level, if you look into, is the South Korean, let's say, users. They are the champion on using the social media platform, or their screening time, but the average is 136 minutes per day, but it actually varies based on the location based and the platform they are using, or the kind of social network they are using. Different types or different kinds of social network getting popular day by day, if you are considering on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, all right, or other different kinds of, let's say, social media platform. As I was indicating to you, if you look into by January 2019, based on the location perspective, we can see the social network penetration. All right, some of the countries you look into in the bottom of this list, they are not, let's say, are rich in the infrastructural facilities. So that's why there's a kind of, let's say, users percentage is less, because the internet facilities and also the network coverage is not there. But other parts in the world, if you look into Eastern Asia, so they're way too ahead comparing to other parts of the world based on the network uses, and also the kind of marketing strategies, particularly focusing on the marketing strategies, way too diverse into these different regions based on the network penetration. Okay, so think about the product orders in different ways, click and collect in different ways, and also searching information and comparing and contrasting information. All this happens into the kind of platform they are using and connected with that particular platform. When we look into mobile and social network uses, a couple of strategies we need to ensure, right? So how these strategies are exposed to consumers or the target audiences, and how they do react. One of the critical approach is the moment of truth, all right? Because through using or by using mobile devices, we are sharing information. We are disseminating information. They are exposed to the marketing stimuli, right, through the devices. So when they are exposed to the information, so that is the moment of truth. So the first moment of truth is when they are exposed to the product. That is interesting. Now they are exposed to the product. It can be, let's say, through social network site, through the mobile phone, right? Or it can be other different ways. It can be the billboard, or it can be they are paying a visit in the store and they have seen it, all right? So that is the first moment of truth. But interesting thing is that the second moment of truth is when they are using it, all right? So the first moment and second moment, they can actually look into two different perspectives. So it's a kind of shift, all right? So I have seen the information about the product or seen the product physically or maybe virtually, but now I'm using it. So there's a kind of shift on, let's say, knowledge, cognitive to affective, right? But the zero moment of truth is when we are searching information about that particular product after we are exposed to the marketing stimuli, right? So that's why if you look into the book from Google, right? So it's a very interesting publication. So winning the zero moment of truth, how we can literally make the consumers from first moment of truth, we can convince them, persuade them to go to the next level. That means buying the product or brand and accessing towards it, right? So how we can win it. So that is where we use the touch points, right? So different kinds of touch points and customer, let's say, experience journey, if you look into. So how we constantly focus on positive kind of experiences in the touch point. So in the zero moment of truth, they will look for the information, right? So they will search for the product because they are exposed to that particular product. They like it. There's a kind of, let's say, interest they are experiencing. For that, they might approach to their friends or their peers, or maybe someone who has more information or expertise. And they will start collecting information from different sources, online or offline. Here, marketers plays a very interesting role. So that's why it talks about what are the strategies we can use on the zero moment of truth. If you're using, let's say, the mobile marketing strategy, you can look into so many different ways. If the, let's say, the target audiences or consumers pay a visit in the social media platform or your own website, all right, or let's say shared platform, or maybe paid a visit in the physical store, you can use a push-based strategy to them. And that can be another effective approach of, let's say, touch point. And from there, they can compare and contrast the information and can move to the next level, second moment of truth. When we do talk about two different phases, right? So think about the first moment of truth, that is a discovery phases, right? So if you look into this one, mobile email or display ads or mobile paid searches, different ways we looked into. First and zero moment of truth is the discovery phases. But the interesting perspective is the engagement phases. So that is the second moment of truth, or to some part of also the zero moment of truth. So the way we connect discovery and engagement phases, all right, is a kind of winning strategy of the marketers, the way they can do. Couple of theories you also need to distill the way we are using the mobile marketing strategies, right? So there's a 4S theory it's been used, or somewhere or other we'll also look into. Opportunity, optimize, advertise, and analyze approaches. That's another way of looking into, right? So mobile marketing approach theory. So first you need to look into what is the opportunity you normally find out from, let's say, the target market, the kind of opportunity you normally look into. The way you measure it, all right? So measure means that how you will be considering the actual deliverables, and the way you will be, let's say, find out the dollar figure on that. And then you are using the strategies or push-based strategies. Think about you're sending the information to the market, to the consumers in that particular market base by using, let's say, SMS or let's say proximity marketing. We're going to talk about it in the upcoming slide, how you can use the proximity marketing, or by you can use, let's say, the mobile advertisement and different kinds of place-based advertisement strategy. And then you can analyze it. One of the interesting example, if you look into as a kind of case, right? So as a brand, Pizza Express, have a look into in this particular case. Industry, restaurant, all right. The location is UK, and what was the objective or marketing objective they had? All right. So they experience a kind of problem. Okay. In that particular let's say problem, the issue was they wanted to increase the number of, let's say, users want to use the Pizza Express, let's say, shop, and in the same time they wanted to share some coupons, right, so that they can spend more, right? And at the same time they wanted to actually track the number of let's say customers who are buying the Pizza Express food and services, right? So From that point, how they actually create a kind of solution, right? So Pizza Express decided to develop a mobile app that would allow customers not only to book their tables prior to the visit, but also pay their bills from their table or before they are actually sitting on the table, and redeem any kind of voucher codes against the meal. All right. So by designing one particular app can literally solve all different kinds of issues they were experiencing at the time, right? So it's a problem-based approach of designing the service, right, or service app. And the results or the outcome is interesting. The next month, they increase their sales of £100,000, right? Now, if you look into what they literally find out, it is good because it's literally help to find out let's say the number of consumers who have received their services, and because it's tangible, right? And they looked into it's measurable as well. And also they can easily find out the customer experiences because people are using the app, and this particular app literally can collect additional information to find out the experiences or positive experiences, right? What they say about it, what's their opinion as a marketer, all right? So they have a clear, there's insight about this kind of innovation, particularly designing the app literally help them in different ways, and also help them to stand out from the competition as well, all right? Moving ahead, the way we look into mobile commerce, e-commerce, and s-commerce, the kind of refinement we look towards, right? So mobile commerce is a kind of a strategy where we are using different kinds of push-based strategies, right, towards our consumers or towards our end users of our product or service or brand or our elected community, right? These are the strategies, if you look into, marketers do use. They focus on different kinds of, let's say, price-based approaches, giving discounts or rebates or coupon by using, let's say, mobile commerce strategy. Or they can also use different kinds of promotional approaches, all right, through the, let's say, the mobile or m-commerce strategies. It's a kind of, let's say, mobile campaign you can look into. Also, you can also find out two-ways information as the location strategies or proximity marketing strategies. E-commerce, on the other hand, is a little bit more, let's say, diverse, or particularly the DEX-based approach. We are using CRM as a kind of e-commerce approaches, which literally help us to create leads about the consumers. And this becomes much more effective when it is B2B, all right, on e-commerce perspective. But then we are moving towards the S-commerce, right, or social commerce, which is much more, let's say, comprehensive, considering both M and e-commerce together, because we are blending social networks and at the same time create a kind of ecosystem. If you look into the picture or the diagram, the bottom right corner, right, here you'll see that the interaction between customer and the merchant, right? So this is happening both e-commerce and m-commerce, right? But the important perspective is that how the ecosystem has been built, and what are the, let's say, uncontrollable factors that is influencing the decision of both the customers and the merchant, right? And if you look into the social factors, economic factors, or legal or environmental factors, each of these some or other influencing the decision of different players here, particularly the customers and the merchant, right? But also we need to consider about, let's say, any kind of influences, the way the marketers or the consumers adapt. The factors can be, let's say, the cultural factors. In many cases, you'll see that because of the cultural influences, people in a particular community or a particular society might not feel comfortable to use more internet or connecting to the internet, or maybe using, let's say, technological devices. And we have seen in many different cases, let's say, some of the cultures do discourage And if you look into also, let's say, technological advancement or technological divide, right? So that is another way of looking into how we see the technological divide. Some of the let's say customers or consumers, they might not have access to internet as an emerging market or less affluent market. So they have the need, but they don't have the access to let's say infrastructural facilities. So in that case, we can see the adaptation is necessary, right? How let's say the mobile marketing literally create a disruption. One of the interesting example is mobile banking. If you look into, right? So how that particular strategy literally created disruption. One of the classic cases is the mobile banking system in the emerging economies, right? So think about the less affluent people, they were not able to open the bank account, right? Because the banks or institutions have a strict, let's say, process to open account, and these people were experiencing a challenge. So when the non-government organization particularly come up with this approach, M-Pesa or Bcash, right? So in one of the African countries is using the M-Pesa in Zimbabwe or Bcash in Bangladesh. And the kind of disruption happened, less affluent people, particularly the farmers, right? So they find it super useful. And by using that, they can easily transfer the money, all right? So from one particular user to another user, right? And this is the way the disruption literally happened. Now, how we see the kind of social commerce literally embedding both of these two, right? Both mobile commerce and e-commerce. Critical perspective is the platform, all right? So the platform is that where you'll see in social commerce, we are heavily relying on, let's say, embedding the information or adapting the information based on the kind of requirement from both of these players or agents, right? So one is customer, another one is merchant. We also need to look into the adaptation of, let's say, technology, right? Two ways direction of technologies we need to look into. And also social related exchange activities and management as well. So the way each of these agents has to adapt or assimilate on that. Moving forward from using the theoretical perspective of social commerce, let's have a look into the growth of particularly the m-commerce in US market, right? So from Business Insider, we look into the kind of growth has been happening, right, for the last 1 decade, right? The way we look into is a kind of essential change that has happened. What kind of essential change you can look into, right? So the kind of infrastructural growth, excuse me, guys, give me a second, please. Sorry, guys. The kind of change that has actually happened, if you look into the potential number of users who are using the mobile devices, and that also opening the opportunity of e-commerce as well, right? That means they are placing the order by using their devices, right? So that's showing a kind of exponential growth here. If you look into the prospective number by 2024, immense growth, $488 billion, right? So if you look into, and the growth comparing to the last 2 years, if you look into 2022 to 2024, $69 billion, right? That's an immense growth. If you look into another market, let's say China, right? So China is also a big market where we can see the m-commerce has been getting a strong growth here. You guys are familiar with Singles Day, right? You're familiar with Singles Day in China? Singles Day in China?
I think I've heard of it where the single people like propose or try to get a girlfriend. I think I've heard of something like that.
You're right, absolutely right. So it's 11th of November, actually, 1111. So that is called Singles Day, right? 11th of November. And people who are single, they wanted to somewhere rather actually celebrate it because they are single, right? Spoil themselves by buying things and buying things from online. That kind of, let's say, shopping culture is being created. It's a kind of replication of the Western shopping culture. If you look into Black Friday or Boxing Day here, right? So interesting thing is that if I give you the statistics, you'll be amazed. The last Singles Day, how much Alibaba generated, how much they're able to sell in one day, 124 hours. Any idea how much they're able to sell in one day, one Singles Day?
1 million plus.
Way too more, actually, way too more. It's $32 billion in one Singles Day. You can do research, you can find out that, right?
Wow,
Think
that's
about
a lot. One day.
$32 billion in one single day. Just think about the size of the market, right? It's a huge market, but the kind of, let's say, marketing strategy by embedding the m-commerce strategy, that shows the difference, right? So we can see the brick and mortar shop, they're struggling now. They're struggling because there's so many different things been, let's say, changing. Consumers' approach towards online platform or online shopping, and how the overhead cost is somewhere rather creating more pressure or challenge, and then social distancing because of COVID-19. All these are actually explaining the kind of reliance, right? And even if you look into other different perspective as well, other different industry, particularly, let's say, service-based industry, think about hospitality or particularly the restaurant services, right? And how we look into, let's say, the sharing economy in one way, let's say Uber Eats, right? Or let's say DoorDash or Menulog, and how this, let's say, food delivery system literally connected with the kind of, let's say, mobile strategy or m-commerce strategy, right? Whether this benefit, that is a critical question to ask, right? So whether this kind of approaches literally benefit the restaurant service business, or it creates more challenge for them. That's a very interesting way to look into how some of the let's say restaurant business in particular, they are using their own delivery services, but now they are heavily relying on this let's say share-based businesses, particularly, right? Platform share-based businesses like Menulog or let's say Uber Eats or DoorDash, right? Interesting thing is that we can look into the kind of shift that's been happening. You guys are familiar with Ghost Kitchen? Anyone is familiar with Ghost Kitchen?
Yes, I am.
So what is that? Could you please share a little bit on that, Ghost Kitchen?
So from my understanding, it's like when a restaurant has, like, they trade under different names on delivery platforms like Uber Eats, or they may not even be a restaurant at all. It's just operating out of a kitchen.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And I was like looking into think about this one. This kind of approach is now, and I don't know how things will be coming in future. If you look into the idea of the Ghost Kitchen comes from RMG industry, ready-made garments industry, right? So, or think about the fashion industry. In one particular factory, they are producing multiple different fashion brands. They're sticking to the labels, and then they are sending this to the marketers, and then marketers do brand these and promote these. That kind of ghost production approaches comes to the service industry now, right? The concern is, let's say, the service quality, right? So how we are, let's say, considering on the let's say the origin of the brand embedded to the services, but now it's more diverse and complex. Ghost Kitchen literally is showing that, okay, consumers are, or market is already penetrated, but how the consumers are reacting on that. Question is, our concern is consumers don't know about it, all right? But how they are using those as a kind of, let's say, services, the way they are reacting to that. That would be another way of looking into. There's not much research has been done in this area. I was looking into that. Any good publication on the ghost kitchen, particularly in service-based journal, couldn't find any. So might be in future there'll be publication on that. Anyway, coming back to our discussion, the way we look into the strategies, particularly the marketers use by using the m-commerce or mobile marketing strategies, right? Have a look into this connected with the social media strategy. Each of these successful brand and their successful strategies, right? Concentrating on targeting the right segment and focusing on embedding successful marketing mix strategies, let's say the 4 Ps or 4 Cs or even 4 As, right? The way they are considering all these STP, segmentation, targeting, and positioning, and then considering on designing the product, sending this information or the promotional strategy through the marketing, m-commerce or mobile commerce, right? And one of the pretty example, if you look into Supermint, right? Focusing on target consumers, young consumers, right? And how they are using this strategy, concentrating on their target audiences. The target audiences are the parents, right? Constant focus on refinement of the information by using the mobile strategies, right? Pushing messages, or let's say creating a kind of closed groups and using this kind of strategies. When we use mobile or let's say social commerce or s-commerce, interesting perspective is to collect data, collect information, metadata. There's one of the critical perspective that we have covered earlier, right? And create a kind of engagement as you could look into, right? Because if we have the information or the data, that literally help us to do the personalization of the information. Personalization is critical. The way we look into the success of any of these commerce strategy, it can be mobile or or let's say social commerce, right? So interesting thing is that different kinds of let's say refinement we do on our strategy. It can be content development or let's say content refinement, or let's say you are designing your let's say screen or the platform of let's say the kind of website. But interesting thing is that how you are using this data to do more personalization, that is the critical one, right? So without personalization, the success factor would be a kind of challenge. Additional insight on using the strategies, two different perspectives. One is mobile first, and another one is the audience first, right? So what's the connection of these two, right? So when the marketers use different kinds of m-commerce strategy, they need to consider the number of users who are using the portable devices or mobile devices, right? And the kind of contents they are designing, focusing on the mobile devices. Think about the website or social media platform, different kinds of search engine the target audience do use. So considering on which one they will be using, and they have to do the test strategy, right? So think about the prototype, or think about the wireframing, all right? So the way when they are designing these, they have to consider that what are the different kinds of search engine they are using, and whether that literally works on all these different kinds of search engines or not. So they have to do the testing before they are launching, literally. And that's why the mobile first is the critical one. And the second one is more important than the mobile first, is that the audience first, right? So that means whatever design they are making, they need to bring the target audiences on board while they are designing the prototype, or let's say wireframing, or let's say empathy map, all right? We have to cover all this, because literally this enhance the customer experiences, right? So when we do talk about the positive experiences of the customers, design is critical. If we are relying more on customers' need or customers' want, all right, and then we do design, our contents that literally help. The kind of personalization of the contents, as I have indicated earlier, right? So that also needs to be into the planning process. So when we do initiation of the design or planning of the design, we also need to understand that the diversity of the nature of the target audience's information expectation and also information dissemination. So that's why we have to always deal with these strategies, right? When we are using the kind of CX strategy or customer experience strategy, we're using the mobile devices, we always need to focus on creating the loyalty base. So the loyalty base is a kind of ultimate objective, right? If you're looking into considering on different layers of the connectivity, all right, so prospect, that means the prospective number of target audiences start with engage, right, experience, educate, and excite. The more you actually move forwards, right, so you will be getting more on active engagement, right? So that is on the top, but you have to go with the bottom to top, all right? So you need to actually find out the prospective number of users, but before that, you have to do your research. You have to suspect that this is where we can approach, or this is where we can target. And after delivering the information or educating the, let's say, target audiences, they become your customers, right? And after they start using your product or accessing your product or services, they become your loyal customer. And then they become your advocate, right? Or maybe they start sharing about your product benefits or features to others. There's a kind of engagement. So from excite to engage, we look into different kinds of information dissemination we can do by using the mobile marketing strategy. We also need to deal with multi-channel and omni-channel marketing approach as well. Multi-channel is that when you are relying on different kinds of, let's say, intermediaries and their platform as well, multiple different channels you're using it, all right? But in omni-channel, you're not relying on them, but in the same time, you're also running your own platform, different kinds of platform, right? And in each of these different platforms, you are really consistent while you are sharing the information. Very, very consistent, right? So how you are, let's say, sharing about the product features information or price information, and these are all consistent in different platforms. The benefit, where's the benefit you can generate? The benefit is that you have more presence in different platforms, and in the same time, you can get more data from the consumers. Before, we had to rely on other intermediaries to share the information to us, but now we can easily get the data. It's more available to us, right? In omni-channel, one of the critical perspectives is that to let's say make the presence in multiple different platforms and encouraging the target audiences to visit all different let's say platform that you are connected with, owned and share both, right? Some of the examples how the omni-channel marketing literally works as a kind of case, right? So we normally send the push-based messages to the target audiences, and then this particular push-based messages can be a kind of directed link, or maybe a particular page, or maybe let's say sign up link where they do sign up, and then they find out a kind of additional services where we will be create a kind of group, or let's say create a kind of connection where additional information or push-based messages goes to them, useful information about the features of the product or the benefits of the brand, right? And then we also need to look into how these can also help them to join or fit into a particular community where they all have similar kind of homogeneous need, or let's say the benefits they are expecting. Now, interesting thing is that this is the way we move forward to create positive experiences by using the omni channel strategy. Another interesting approach is the location-based marketing, widely used if you look into enhancing the positive experiences, location-based marketing works very well. All right, so different ways we can use this one. Another terminology of location-based marketing is called proximity marketing, right? So what you can do as an example, so think about I think that was 2016. Yeah, one of my clients, they have is CBD based, Melbourne CBD based. They had permission from the council. They were a restaurant, right? So they had a permission from the council that they can open 24/7, right? So before it was 10 to 10, from 10 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock in the night, all right? So, but they have a bar and they have the kitchen as well. So then they find out this was good for them. They got the permission from the council that they can be 24/7. The bar would be closed at 12 o'clock, but the kitchen will be open. Now then they wanted to actually expand their sales, what they could do, right? So the interesting thing is that proximity marketing is not new. It's been widely used for some time now, right? The suggestion was to them is they will be use location-based or proximity marketing. How they will be using it. So interesting thing is that their prospective number of customers in the CBD, normally in Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night, right? So when they will be it's in different clubs or different pubs. So when it is, let's say, 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning, so they might need some food, right? Or let's say, or snacks. So in that case, they will be using a particular network and send the push-based messages with different vouchers or coupons about their food offering, right? And that can bring more or rope in more customer, right? So this kind of approaches literally works by using the mobile strategies or mobile marketing strategy. Some of the service provider also can get two-ways interaction data, right? So they can get the feedback after they complete, let's say, delivery one particular service. Think about, as an example of a particular university, they want to track the satisfaction of the students who has used the library facilities, right? So just immediately they come out from the library, they receive a push-based text messages that what was the experience of using the library, right? So it actually designing the questionnaire based on the scale based. Out of 10, if 10 can be very happy, 0 can be very unhappy, right? So if they provide feedback, let's say out of 10, it is 7, it's okay, less than 7, then they are sending another scale-based question that why you are not so happy. Out of, let's say, 5 or 6 questions, you need to select one. And then let's say if it's a critical response on the service, then they receive a call. So service provider can, by using location-based mobile approaches, can get very, very useful information. This is in, let's say, in bank or any other different service industry. If you look into, this is widely used. All right, so we also need to focus on other kinds of mobile-based approaches, let's say using the QR codes, right? Widely used because last 2 years we have seen that it's been widely used. We are not using RFID anymore, radio frequency identification anymore, right? So by using blockchain or QR code, it gives us way to advanced level of benefits, right? So we can look into in different ways collecting information from the consumers while they are scanning the QR code. All right, it's way too affordable and accessible, and it also help us to get access to very, very useful information about our consumers or target audiences. So that's why marketers are very much into in QR code strategy. As an example, if you look into Walmart, right? So how Walmart is using their virtual toy store, right? So space saving is critical. IKEA is also using that one. Other different kinds of grocery retail chain, they're all using it. Saving space is critical, isn't it? And if you are using your mobile devices as a customer, you can literally see different information about that product. And now adding more on that, let's say augmented reality or virtual reality. If there is a device, let's say HoloLens, right? So Microsoft HoloLens, you are using a, let's say, virtual reality goggles, you can literally see about the product. I was indicating IKEA. You can see that how IKEA is using the augmented reality, all right? So just simply put the device, it can be in an iPad or it can be a mobile phone, and you can see that how the particular furniture will look in your house while you're considering to buy one, all right? Different ways this can actually benefit. Now, using mobile strategy comprehensively by the marketers, there's so many different cases. When we say comprehensive approach or holistic approach of using mobile marketing, one of the classic example is Samsung. So what they did in 2014 World Cup, right? In that particular World Cup, they come up with a comprehensive approach of running the mobile marketing campaign in Brazil, right? So what they did, they designed an app, all right? So it's a kind of, let's say, letting the users of the app to play soccer, right? So that is sports marketing they use. At the same time, they were using the push-based messages on all different kinds of subscriber about the schedule or the information about the venue. They also use the campus marketing as well, connected with the students, right? Giving them useful information about that particular games, right? Okay, Ron, you have a question. Because of the amount of apps on the marketing ATM, pretty much every single one of the companies trying to make their own app. Is there any way we can avoid irritating the customer base? Oh, that's true, actually, Ran. If you look into, everyone is now creating the app, right? And it's a kind of competition, and it also creates a kind of clutter as well, right? So designing the app and let's say not only the functionality is all we can look into the standard when we do design, right? But also need to focus on how proactive you are on maintaining the consistency on sharing the information that benefits, all right? So once the consumers actually find out they are hooked, they are connected with all useful information relevant with the service you are providing. So there should be a kind of consistency on services and also the information that you are sharing or disseminating. That literally help, all right? So that literally help you to not to distract your consumer or your customer, all right? That answer your question, Ran?
Actually, I want to get further question for this.
Yep.
So basically, because there are so many targeting, so many apps on the market.
Yeah.
And they're not just specifically targeting customer. They're trying to pushing their product through the phone apps notification every single day. So what I'm trying to say is there any ways we can actually pushing the product instead towards the customer, but in a different way, in a different method. For example, no ways like the notification popping on the phones every day, because personally I have like 20 or 30 of the manufacturers apps on my phone, and they're constantly popping out notifications, which is, to be honest, it's frustrating.
Okay, look, remember we talked about permission marketing. Can you recall permission marketing? Yes.
Yeah,
so we have, yeah, correct. So we have to effectively use permission marketing. The problem is sometimes if we are not effectively using the permission marketing, consumers become irritated. They become frustrated because we are, let's say, somewhere or other unsubscribing the services, but at the same time, it's not effectively working, right? So we're still receiving. As an example, let's say PatPat, one of the let's say platform which sells different kinds of let's say fabrics to, or let's say apparels to the consumers, right? But thinking about this one, how ineffective they are, on pushing, using the pushing messages, right? In particular the mobile devices, as you have indicated. Effectively using permission marketing literally can help. Other different approaches, there's the other different approaches you can actually use, not only one particular, let's say devices, let's say not only the mobile marketing, but what about e-commerce? You can also use that one. Offline marketing, you can also use that one. That is also very, very effective. Sending them, let's say some of the innovative or creative approaches of mails, that works really, really well. But that is not cost effective comparing to the electronic approaches. All right.
But I actually have some kind of ideas. So there's actually a method I've seen in the past. There's one of the company which is using some kind of reward when the customer is actually looking at their notification and looking at the product they're trying to push, and for the amount of time they're actually looking at it, and the company is going to give you a reward, something like a small gift or whatever it's posting to their address.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now that is the you are measuring the time they are looking into that. That is possible. It's analytics, right? So
Yeah.
they are using the analytics. Correct. Yes.
But is there any possibility? I mean, there's another, and that thing can be backfired as well, because the company is actually falls into kind of hoax instead of the way they're trying to do it. Because there's people purposely using using a kind of software to keep forwarding and spamming the notification system, and they went nearly bankrupt.
Oh yeah,
that's
an issue.
Later on, they actually canceled the project, but they're actually being hated by the customer because it can be qualified as sort of the false advertising.
That's true. That's true. I don't disagree on that. There's a kind of big challenge if you look into, right? So we had a challenge before on the .com bubble. Now it's a challenge, and everyone is creating their own apps, and everyone is actually pushing with the kind of apps, right? And the way customers, particularly the customers, are feeling bombarded with all these different kinds of push messages. But the company you have indicated, which company they are using this kind of analytics?
It was a sort of the unicorn company back to China.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They just started and was being just basically everyone's yanking a piece out of it.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it was working out in the first place, but it's starting out really fast as well. Because there's professional scalpers.
Okay. Okay. Could you please share the link as well, if possible?
And the company is already gone. The company is already gone.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And the link is finished and the company's gone. It's about 5-6 years ago.
Ah, all right.
Yeah, the potential is really good. I can see a really great outcome from it, but I think there's something should be done to prevent a spamming like that. Yeah.
Okay. No, all good. Thank you. Thanks for sharing, Rob.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question from anyone? All right. As I was indicating, as a kind of comprehensive approach of the mobile marketing, Samsung did an amazing job in the World Cup in Brazil 2014, right? So they used the sport marketing approach, campus marketing in different schools and colleges. They have hired the celebrities as well, right? So Ronaldo, Pele, and also Rivaldo as well, right? So they were all use their platform, social media platform, and using this kind of, let's say, push-based approaches on their followers as well. They use cultural marketing as well, using mobile marketing strategy, exhibiting the Brazilian culture, and also cause marketing as well, focusing on some of the less affluent community in Brazil. All right, so how using this kind of mobile marketing and creating connectivity can literally help by kind of donation Samsung users, and also they can actually donate for a particular cause to the less affluent community in Brazil. When we look into a kind of comprehensive approach using mobile marketing or let's say mobile commerce or e-commerce or s-commerce, a combination of all these literally help to effectively use your social media marketing strategy. All right, any question before we move to the second part, case study? Michael, Jack, Preeti, Ryan?
Nothing from me, all good.
All good. All right, very good.
Yeah, same here. Thanks.
No worries. So could you please, yep, thank you. Could you please go to LMS page and look into week 10. I have shared the case study and we need to read the case study and then.
Sorry,
Yep.
Professor. I actually have an issue. So recently, recently the university is actually trying to put us onto the Microsoft Accelerator, I think. I've been having issues trying to log into the LMS and everything because when I'm putting in my password, it just doesn't let me into it.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. Have you ever approached?
I was trying to get myself linked into the app as well. I tried multiple times, and even I tried a few times today. It still doesn't work. But luckily, I actually saved up the link for the Zoom online, so I don't have an issue for jumping in the class. But I still haven't figured out. I think I need to jump into the Ask-Lecture tomorrow to find out.
Are you overseas, Ryan? Can I ask? Are you in overseas?
No. I'm local. I'm in Austria at the moment.
Okay, so this shouldn't be happening actually. I don't know.
Which is really strange because when I'm trying to connect, it just doesn't work. It says there's a unknown error encountered, and that's all I got.
That's interesting. Okay. Have you ever talked with the IT team?
That's actually what I'm gonna do tomorrow. I'll just go to the Tube Bandori campus to just ask them personally.
I think you can talk with Ask La Trobe. That is they are located in library in Agora.
That's the thing. I actually called them and they have no idea as well. So they made me an appointment tomorrow for me to go in there to just have a closer look together and trying to help me to bind my phone to the account.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. If you want, send me an email. I can pass that one to IT team. They might have a look into that.
No worries. I already have an appointment tomorrow with them anyway.
Okay. No worries. Thank you. All right, guys. So this is the case that we need to actually work on. All right. So do you have access to the case, right, guys?
Yeah, I've got it downloaded on mine. Is there any way, because I can put it into the chat, but I don't know if this chat allows for attachments.
What do you mean by attachment?
Oh, like to put the case study into the chat so that Rand can use it today.
Oh, okay. So no, I'm not sure. Let me try.
There's something that's like Microsoft OneDrive or Microsoft SharePoint, but I'm not sure about that.
Don't worry. Let me try to share it in the chat. Oh, okay. Microsoft OneDrive. No, it's not allowing me to connect actually here. So the issue, you cannot download it from LMS.
I've been able to, but if Rand can't get into
yeah,
LMS.
Rand. Yeah, I will email it to Rand now.
Okay, no worries.
Yep. Ran, I have emailed it to you.
All right, thanks, Professor.
And after finish the reading, we need to put the answer in the Padlet. So that's as usual we need to do. How we are progressing with the reading, guys?
I'm up to the third question.
Good, thank you. So just post it onto Padlet when you finish, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for sharing the answer, Ran, with the chat box. Thank you very much. All right, Jack. Yes, your opinion, please. Over to you. How do you tackle the answers?
I thought that it was there were a lot of benefits to the mobile marketing because it essentially taps right into where they were aiming, especially with Instagram, and talking about how the founder Muhammad found the personal trainers and bodybuilders on there. It's kind of the perfect place where he would meet his audience. And make that point of contact. So that was my answer for the first question. For the second one, I was kind of unsure because with the case study being of building a brand from basically from scratch entirely on mobile. I was curious about what the possibilities might be for a larger business, and assuming that if it is a larger business that it A, already exists, and B, exists outside or originated outside of mobile marketing, it would, I was wondering what the possibilities might be like for them to basically convert their model entirely to mobile. And I don't know that I sort of got an answer at the end of that, but it was interesting to think about. And then the last one, the last question, I probably maybe not so much risks, but definitely considerations and potential risks that a startup would be aware of permission marketing. And your discussion before actually sort of generated that, I guess, a way of meeting customers on their terms. And then also laws and regulations about mobile marketing.
Yeah.
And then also the omni-channel marketing, sort of placing the customers at the center of everything rather than the brand centering itself. I thought that was important too.
Correct. Good. Thank you, Jack.
Awesome. Thanks.
Pretty. Question number 2. How did you tackle question number 2? Can I ask?
Yeah, I just said that because big businesses and small businesses are different. In my opinion, I don't think that it would have, sorry, let me just read the question again. No, it may not present the similar opportunities as it does for a large business, because a large business is able to, give a customer like an offer that a smaller business may not be able to do that. On the app, like for example, when I stopped purchasing with H&M, they sent me an offer, they personalized and emailed it to me, they sent me an app thing, whereas a smaller business like this, the restaurant one, they may not be able to do that because they still have to make a profit and think about, other costs and stuff, whereas a big business may be able to afford that. So it may not present them the similar. I don't know, I went along that line of profit.
That's one very useful argument here, because they have more capacity. They can actually deal with more data of their target consumers, and they can also personalize very well. So that's one way you could look into that. No, thank you very much. What about question number 3? How do you deal with the question number 3?
Question number 3, I said that when starting a new business, especially using mobile marketing, you should know product risks. You should know what your consumers want, what they like, and having a big market. So that means being able to research before just starting something new, even though you think you know the audience well. And then financial risk, I guess, having enough sufficient funds and the right investors and people that are motivated to support your business and be willing to be there with you. And then also, because I read the other answers and I was like, oh no, I didn't put it in. They said laws about marketing and keeping data personal and private, adhering to all those laws and regulations within your state or country is important as well.
Very good. Thank you. Thanks for answering that. Finally, Michael, I can see question number 2. You have answered yes and no. Could you please share some insight on that? Question number 2, please.
Yeah, I think my reasoning behind that was because I guess, as I said, on paper, it's this, there is the same opportunity with mobile marketing. Like anyone can go on Instagram, for example, and do a post. But I guess to make it more successful, you would need like regular posting, for example, or a strategy behind it. And like the larger companies are going to have those resources, whereas a small one like this startup is probably not going to have access to experts as much as a larger company would.
Okay.
So I think in reality, it's not, there's not really the same. I mean, yes and no, as I said, they don't really have the same opportunity.
No, that's can you hear me? Yep. So that's right. That's right. In that way to argue, actually. Good. And what about question number 3?
So I talked about like potentially losing control of their message, especially when they're using affiliate marketing. So they don't know how, the people they're using as ambassadors portray them, or they don't have as much control. And also, I guess with the information overload, like I know I get a lot of notifications on my phone, and when I see a lot of notifications, I tune out. So
Ran was indicating that
issue.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, nowadays.
Feel lost in that.
Yep, agree. Ethical concern as well. So this is another area where we actually talked about using the information about our customers or our consumers. So that is always a big challenge. Challenge in the sense that using ethical standard, right? Not using ethical standard can create further issue or further complication. Good. No, thanks for sharing the answer, the Padlet. All of you, thank you guys, and thanks for joining the session. As you know that the deadline for submitting the assignment, Mohit has sent me an email requesting an extension. He's not here. I have to reply to him, and others who are submitting the assignment, please do so. Before the submission, if you have any question, please do feel to reach out. All right, so any question, guys?
Oh, sorry. What about the exam, sir?
So exam, you have received the exam timetable, right?
Yeah, because you said it was clashing and you were going to get it changed. I was a bit confused.
So it's not clashing now. So
okay.
Yeah, now it is okay, because I have provided the details to the exam team, and they're all good now. I've checked it. There's no clashing now.
So I'll still be at Wednesday
at 2 p.m. I think, right?
2 p.m. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you.
So now the exam details will be updated by this Sunday. So you look into that, the case study and everything, all the details about how we will be dealing with that. Please do not miss session 12, the final session, where we'll be talking some of the important topics for the final, and also I will be sharing how you will be tackling the answer for the final. Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for joining the session, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes,
Have a good night. Thank you.